Hello everyone, good morning. Today we'll be dealing with another topic on plant-microbe interaction with reference to soil. So microbial interaction takes place in all sphere of life encompassing both biotic and abiotic domain. There's air microbiology, there's water microbiology, then there's soil microbiology. Okay, so under the soil microbiology, one of the most talked about topic, especially in recent researches, is the rhizosphere. So today we'll be coming to learn about the rhizosphere, and in this lecture I will be giving only an introduction to rhizosphere. This topic, rhizosphere, is it comes under plant microbe interaction in the soil. It itself is a very huge topic, so I will just be giving you an introduction in this presentation, and the detailed part, the role, the importance, the significance of rhizosphere to the soil, to plants, and even to human beings. These topics we'll be discussing in the later lectures, which I will be providing to you. So this term might be new to you, that is the rhizosphere. We will come to know what it is. Okay, so we all know that plants are colonized by a huge number of microorganisms that can reach the cell densities much greater than the number of the plant cells. Okay, so this means that in the plants they are interconnected with microorganisms through the soil, that is through the roots of the plants. Okay, and in the roots of the plants where the soils are attached, within that particular zone, millions and millions of microbial cells are present. Okay, so when we talk about plant cells, we know that there are millions of cells present in the plant. Okay, so as much as the number of cells are present in the plant, it is estimated by researchers that that much amount of microbial cells are estimated to be present in the soil, that is the rhizosphere. Okay, and an overwhelming range of studies has revealed that many plant associated microorganisms have profound effects on the seed germination, seed vigor, plant growth, development, nutrition, diseases, and plant productivity. Okay, so we can see by now that the microorganisms which are interacting with the plants in the soil through the roots, they have a huge number of influence on the plants. Okay, such as the seed germination in the soil, then the seedling vigor, okay, the health of the seeds, then the plant growth, even in plant defense mechanisms they are having important role, and in plant development, then providing nutrients to the plants through the root. Then microorganisms, if they're pathogenic, then they can also cause disease to the plants by penetrating through the roots. And also, since they regulate a number of growth and developmental activities in the plant directly, these rhizospheric microorganisms interferes and contribute to the productivity of the plant. It can either increase the productivity or decrease the productivity. Okay, so the collective communities of plant associated microorganisms is referred to as the plant microbiome or the plant's other genome. Okay, so it has been these microorganisms which are associated with plants through the roots in the soil, they have close proximity with the plants, the host plants itself. Okay, so these microorganisms are also referred to as plant microbiome, or those microorganisms which are in association with the plants or the plant's other genome, because living organisms, whether it is plants or microorganisms, they all share and interact with each other directly. Okay, influence one another. Okay, so this is another name given to those microorganisms associated with the plants. Okay, then plants, when we view a plant, okay, it can be viewed as a super organism that rely, not wholly relying on microorganisms, but partially but essentially rely on the microbes for specific functions and traits. Okay, functions and traits which we have just seen, like plant growth, plant development, and so on. Okay, and in return, these plants, they deposit their photosynthetically fixed carbon into their direct surrounding, that is the spermosphere, phyllosphere, rhizosphere, and mycosphere. Okay, these are some of their surroundings which are shown here along with rhizosphere. So we all know that plants perform photosynthesis, and through the root they can release some of their photosynthetically fixed compounds, okay, such as sugars, other carbohydrates, and then even amino acids, then carbon and other nutrients, micro and macronutrients, they release to their atmosphere through the roots, okay. So directly they get released to the surroundings, which will attract the microorganisms to come and form association with the plant roots in the rhizosphere, okay. So here spermosphere means the soil region of soil which is directly attached to the seed of the plant, okay. When we plant a seed, that is the seedling, the seed, okay. So the soil microbe interaction with seed is called the spermosphere. Phyllosphere means the interaction of plants with the air microorganisms through the upper part, particularly through the leaves. Rhizosphere, this is what we're going to talk about. And mycorrhizosphere means it comes under rhizosphere, but it specifically referred to those fungi, okay. Myco means fungus, mycology means study of fungi, okay. So in the rhizosphere, when we talk about microorganisms, we think of bacteria, we think of fungi, we also think of microalgae and viruses, okay. So those rhizospheric microorganisms which are fungi are called mycorrhizosphere. So these are the different terms used which are linked with microbial association with plants, okay. Then the third point here, the phytoexudates are the driving components responsible for feeding the microbial community and influencing their composition and activities, okay. So the plant exudates, that is the photosynthetically fixed compound and other nutritious compounds which are exuded out through the root, those are called the plant exudates or phytoexudates, okay. So these exudates are the major driving component, okay, which attracts the microorganisms towards their root, and also feed the microbes. Microbes depend on these plant exudates to survive and to perform growth and development. And this the abundance or the type of these exudates, okay, that is the abundance or the type of different components which the plant releases directly influence the microbial diversity and their activities, okay. So coming to the rhizosphere. So what is rhizosphere? Here is the definition. The rhizosphere can be described as a narrow region of the soil immediately surrounding the root of the plant which contains secretions and associated soil microorganisms, okay. Here you can see in the diagram. Here we have enlarged the zone of the rhizosphere, okay. So rhizosphere is just a narrow region, okay. It is only just a narrow region of the soil which is directly attached to the root of the plants, okay. So when you see this figure here below, the enlarged one, you will see different type of zones. Endorhizosphere means inside the root. Then rhizoplane is the surface where the soil get attached, the surface of the root, that is the outermost layer of the root. Then the ectorhizosphere is outside, okay, the outside a few millimeters away from the rhizoplane or the surface of the root. And then you can see the green colors here, microorganisms. These are just representative figures. So these are the microorganisms, and the region away from those rhizosphere is called as the bulk soil, okay. So when we talk about rhizosphere or the rhizospheric soil, it is just a narrow region, okay, less than 1 centimeter or about 0.5 mm. It only covers that much, okay. But within that narrow region, there's a very high microbial diversity is found, and very high microbial activity occurs in this rhizospheric soil, okay. Then the term rhizodeposition. So we've been talking about phytoexudates or the plant exudates. Those exudates which are deposited in the rhizospheric region is called as rhizodeposition. Okay, so the term rhizodeposition refers to all the components and materials extracted out from the root. So what are they? They include proteins, sugars, water-soluble exudates, then secretion of insoluble root exudates, enzymes, gases, carbon dioxide, ethylene, Mucilage are sticky sugary components secreted in the root, border cell, and fine dead roots. Okay, here the plant secretes different type of exudates, and they're deposited in the rhizosphere. Okay, and these are some of the examples. Some exudates may become water soluble, which can be absorbed by the microorganisms as well as the plant root again after modification. Some exudates are insoluble in water, remain in the soil for a long period of time until and unless they get broken down by microbial activity. Then enzymes, then different kind of gases. The root performs respiration, so obviously it will secrete out carbon dioxide, then ethylene, then here border cells and fine dead roots. Okay, apart from the exudates which comes out from the root, these fine dead roots, okay, which I've underlined here, are those which those part of the root. Okay, when we see the structure of the root it is divided into different part: the primary root, secondary root, and the lateral branches. But when we talk about that fine root, it is the root hair. Okay, these root hairs are so microscopic, as you've already studied in the other classes. The root hairs are very microscopic, they are very soft and delicate. Okay, and when the plant root grows through the soil, we know that the soil is a very harsh surrounding, so these tiny minute root hairs, they tend to die. Okay, it's sometimes when they encounter harsh condition like small stones, okay, or when the soil is very dry, this root hair dies. Okay, so when this root hair dies, then they release their cellular components into the soil. Okay, so when they release their cellular components into the soil, we know that in a cell there's so many different type of components and organelles present, which are broken down through physical, chemical, and biological forms inside within the soil itself, and they release nutrients and other components which can attract the microorganisms. Okay, so directly plant excretes their exudates from the root, or the nutrients in the rhizosphere also comes because of the death of the fine, minute, delicate root hairs. Okay, so these are the source of food which attract microorganisms towards the rhizosphere. Okay, and in the figure we have just seen about the rhizoplane. So here I have given the definition. What is a rhizoplane? Okay, so the term rhizoplane refers to the root surface including associated soil particles. Okay, so the associated soil particles which are attached to the root surface, that particular region is called as the rhizoplane. Okay, then the rhizosphere is considered as a hotspot for numerous microorganisms and is considered as one of the most complex ecosystem on earth. Okay, so there is no wonder that this rhizosphere has become a very interesting topic, especially in recent years. There's been numerous researches going on, experiments going on with the rhizosphere of different plants. Okay, we can you can study about the rhizosphere, rhizospheric soil associated with vegetables or other agriculturally important plants. The rhizospheric soil associated with grasses are different. The rhizospheric soil associated with trees, angiosperms, gymnosperms are all different. Okay, because different trees or plants secrete different type of components. Okay, and so there have been a very huge research going on. Okay, and the microbial diversity in the rhizosphere of plants differ from one plant to another. Okay, and the rhizosphere itself is a hotspot. You will come to know as we progress with the different lectures one by one. It is a hotspot for numerous microorganisms. So these microorganisms can be beneficial or it can be pathogenic. Okay, and this rhizosphere is one of the most complex ecosystem on earth. We are often neglecting this topic, but researchers have shown that the rhizosphere itself is constituting one of the most complex ecosystem on earth. Complex ecosystem because the microbial activity is directly driving the growth and development and the metabolic activity of the plants. Okay, so directly plant microbe interaction occurs through the rhizosphere, and it is one of the most complex interaction. Okay, and then here is a schematic diagram which shows the rhizoplane. Here you can see with the arrow the immediate surface of the root which come in contact with the soil particles. This rhizosphere is the narrow region here, the soil volume surrounding the rhizoplane affected by root activity. Okay, so as long as the root activity affects the narrow region, those comes under the rhizosphere. Okay, but generally it is very narrow. Okay, and those soil or the region or the area away from the rhizosphere which are not rhizospheric are called the bulk soil. Okay, they does not directly affect the living roots of the plants. Okay, so what are the different type of organisms found in the rhizosphere? They include bacteria, fungi, oomycetes. These oomycetes are now placed under bacteria. Then you can also find the nematodes, protozoa, algae, archaea, another dominant group of bacteria, and soil inhabiting arthropods. Okay, these arthropods are small tiny insects. All these are found in the rhizospheric region. Okay, most members of rhizospheric microbiome are part of the complex food web that utilize large amount of nutrients released by the plants. So we already know that the nutrients which are released by the plants, they are utilized by the rhizospheric microorganisms. Okay, and the third point, deposits are the major driving force in regulation of microbial diversity and activity in the plant roots. Okay, so this deposit are obviously the driving force. Okay, then Cook et al. 1995 postulated that plants may modulate rhizospheric microbiome based on their benefit. By how? Selectively stimulating microorganisms with traits that are beneficial to plant growth and health. Okay, so here Cook 1995. Okay, more than almost 30 years back. Okay, this rhizosphere has become an area of research interest. Okay, and they postulated that based on the requirement of the plants. Okay, if the plant needs phosphorus, for example, okay, then they will regulate their own gene pathway, secrete certain type of compounds which will attract those microorganisms that will help the plants take up the phosphorus. Okay, so why I'm saying phosphorus is because you are already aware with the nitrogen fixing microorganisms. Then there are microorganisms which helps the plant take up phosphorus. Okay, so in phosphorus deficient soil, the plant may regulate. So just like microbes affects the plants through the root, plants also they can regulate their own microbial diversity by selectively stimulating those microorganisms which will beneficial for them. Okay, so this is a postulate put forward in 1995, but now it is already proved through numerous researchers that plant itself drives the type of microorganisms which are present in the rhizosphere. Just like I have said, the rhizospheric microorganisms from different rhizospheric soil differs from plants to plants. Okay, agricultural plants is different, then grassland rhizospheres are different, like that. Okay, so based on that, the plants, even the plant community, influence the type of rhizospheric microorganism that are present in the rhizosphere. Rhizosphere organisms have been well studied for their beneficial effects on plant growth and health, and these are, so plant can attract nitrogen fixing bacteria, mycorrhizal fungi. Mycorrhizal fungi are those group of fungi which help plant take up phosphorus, mainly phosphorus and even water. Okay, then there is a very common group of microorganisms called plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, usually studied as PGPRs. Okay, so these PGPRs, they promote plant growth by inhibiting pathogens, for example, or by allowing the plant to tolerate stress. So many promoting factors are there. Okay, so these are the group of microorganisms. Biocontrol microbes. Biocontrol microbes mean those microorganisms which kills other pathogen. Mycoparasitic fungi. So these biocontrol microbes, mycoparasitic fungi, these are those fungi or bacteria also which parasitize on parasites. Parasites means those pathogens which cause disease to plants. Okay, so there are the beneficial microbes, there are non-beneficial microbes. Beneficial microbes means which are beneficial for the plant as well as for human demand. Non-beneficial means which can cause diseases like the pathogens. Okay, so biological control means using certain plant growth promoting microorganisms to inhibit the invasion of plant pathogens, particularly soil-borne pathogens. Okay, mycoparasitic fungi means those fungi which parasitize on the parasites. Okay, those are plant pathogens, soil-borne pathogens. Okay, and this part we will be going into detail again when we study about their significance, their roles in regulating the plant growth and development. Okay, then microorganisms, the other group, are deleterious to plant growth and health, and they include pathogenic fungi, oomycetes, bacteria, and nematodes. So we've just seen beneficial microbes, where some rhizospheric microbes are deleterious. That means they have ill effects on the plant growth. Okay, these are obviously the pathogenic fungi which causes diseases to the plants. Oomycetes, some of the most destructive pathogens are from oomycetes. Okay, for example, the most common one, Phytophthora infestans, which causes late blight of potato. Okay, that belongs to oomycetes. Then other pathogenic bacteria and nematodes. Okay, these nematodes, they feed on seeds. Okay, especially when you plant seedlings, they feed on nematodes. They feed on the seeds. These nematodes, they also feed on tubers, okay, like potato, ginger, and all. Okay, so these nematodes are also very much destructive. Okay, but those beneficial microorganisms can inhibit them. Okay, we will see in the later lectures how they can inhibit. Okay, the mechanism how they inhibit the pathogens. Okay, then the third group of microorganisms. So the first one is the beneficial microbes. Second one is the non-beneficial or deleterious microbes. The third group of microorganisms which can be present in the rhizosphere are the human pathogens. Okay, these human pathogens we will not be discussing in this lecture, but there is another totally different topic for this one. This is human pathogen present in the rhizosphere is recently been discussed about. It was not well known in the previous years. These human pathogens, they can occur in the rhizosphere, like the Salmonella bacteria, then pathogenic E. coli strains. Okay, they can be present in the rhizosphere. They can penetrate into the plants through the root, minute pores present in the roots, and they can reside inside the plants without harming the plant tissues. Okay, they may travel up to the upper part through the vascular bundles, and they may reside within the plant tissues in the stem, and they may even penetrate into the fruiting parts or the leaves. Okay, these are called endophytes. Okay, endophytes are those microscopic bacteria or fungi that resides within the healthy living tissues of plants without harming the plants. Okay, so when these human pathogenic microorganisms enter the plant system and reside within the plant tissue, it may not harm the plant. Okay, they will remain there as endophytes. But if human being consume such plants, okay, especially these agricultural plants, vegetables, then it will cause disease to human being. Okay, so this is the third group, that is the human pathogens. Okay, they can also be found in the rhizosphere. Okay, then over the past decade, there is an increasing number of reports describing the proliferation of human pathogenic bacteria in and on plant tissues. Okay, so the plant may appear healthy, but after studying the endophytic microorganisms from different plants, scientists have also isolated certain microbial strains which are pathogenic to human beings. Okay, and this study and understanding on this relationship is increasing in recent years. Okay, Mendes et al., one of the early reporters who discussed on the human pathogens via the rhizosphere. Okay, then therefore understanding the process that shapes and drives the composition and dynamics of rhizosphere microbiome is a very essential step not only to safeguard productivity of the plants but also human health. Okay, so when we talk about the rhizosphere, as we have already learned that it is one of the most complex ecosystem. Okay, it will directly drive the activity of the plants. It will be either beneficial or it will be deleterious, as we have already learned that if the rhizosphere contains high number of pathogenic cells or pathogenic microorganisms, then obviously the plant will get infected, the diseased plant will die, it will decrease the yield. Okay, so understanding the rhizosphere microbiome or the rhizospheric microorganisms is not only important to the plant, but in recent studies it has also being learned that the rhizospheric microbiome, the understanding of that particular ecosystem, is also important to safeguard human health. Okay, because of the high amount of human pathogenic microorganisms present in the tissue of the plants. Okay, so rhizospheric microorganisms, we talk about plant microbe interaction, but it is also encompassing the human pathogens. Okay, then rhizospheric microorganisms can regulate plant growth and defense through three broad domains. Okay, as I've said, we'll be focusing on the plant microbe interaction, not on the human interaction. Okay, for this time. So rhizospheric microorganisms, how do they affect the plant? Okay, how do they regulate the plant growth, even plant defense? They can regulate the plant immune system, and it can be broadly categorized under three broad domains. Okay, these are: number one, enhance nutrient availability and acquisition for plants; number two, supporting plant growth under biotic stress; and the third one is supporting plant growth under abiotic stress. Okay, so these three we will be going in detail one by one in the next lecture. It is a very vast one topic itself. It is very huge. Okay, but we will be going in detail these 3 points in the next lecture. Okay, so what we have learned today is the rhizospheric microorganisms. They interfere with the plant growth and development. They directly or indirectly influence the growth and development of the plants. These rhizospheric microorganisms, they are supported by the phytoexudates, which are secreted from the plants via the root or through the death of the fine root cells. Okay, and because of the high amount of nutrient accumulation near the root of the plant, it attracts a huge number of microorganisms. Okay, it will attract beneficial microbes, it will also attract non-beneficial microbes or pathogens, and it also attracts human pathogens. Okay, human pathogens, when they're released into the soil, they especially when there's vegetation, okay, they get attracted to the rhizosphere because of the high accumulation of nutrients near the root region. Okay, so that's the major factor that drive the microbial community in the rhizosphere. Okay, and these 3 points, the first one is enhance nutrient availability and acquisition for plants. Okay, so they can fix nitrogen. We have already seen the example. The nitrogen fixation takes place inside the root of the plant through nodule formation. That one is clear. But without these signaling molecules, it will not attract those microorganisms which fix the nitrogen. Okay, so they are present in the rhizosphere. Then another one is the phosphorus uptake, that is the mycorrhizal fungi. Then another mechanism which we'll be discussing in the next lecture is the siderophore secretion, which enhance the uptake of iron. Okay, so all these different nutrients are made available to the plants by the microorganisms. Okay, then if the plants encounter different type of stress, which can be biotic or abiotic stress. Biotic stress means obviously directly we will focus on the pathogens. Okay, biotic means living, so the stress which caused by living organisms, that is the culprit is the pathogens. Okay, so like I have said, the beneficial microorganisms or mycoparasites, they can parasitize on plant pathogens. Okay, so they help support the growth of the plant under biotic stress. they can ward off the plant pathogens. Okay, and the third one is the abiotic stress. Numerous studies have shown that microorganisms support plant under abiotic stress. It can be natural or it can be induced under experimental condition. Abiotic stress, abiotic means non-living, so non-living means it can be drought, lack of water, it can be temperature stress, high temperature, low temperature, or it can also be salt stress and so on. Okay, so this different type of stress, both biotic and abiotic factor, all this stress the plant encounters, but because of the rhizospheric microorganisms, they can tolerate all these different kind of stresses. Okay, so these details we will be discussing one by one in the next lecture. Okay, and I would like to end this slide with one schematic representation here, taken from Mendes et al. 2013 from ResearchGate. So in conclusion, okay, rhizosphere microorganisms can be broadly categorized into three categories. The good means obviously the beneficial microbes, here shown in green. They can influence the activity, the physiology, metabolism of the plants, tolerance to abiotic stress. Then they can help promote and regulate growth and development of plants. They can help the plant in nutrient uptake and acquisition, assimilation of nutrients, then protection against pathogens, that is tolerance to biotic stress, and they can even activate the plant immune system. Okay, so this all comes under the good or the beneficial microbes. Then under the rhizospheric biome, it also has the bad. Okay, so the bad means the pathogens. So if the rhizosphere is colonized by pathogenic microbes, then it will destroy the vegetables or the plants. Okay, so those pathogenic are considered as the bad by Mendes. And the third one category is the human pathogen or the ugly. Okay, so if you have known the classical movie The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, that what is the reference taken by them from the title of the movie. The ugly, they have considered the human pathogen. Okay, food contamination means those human pathogens which are present in the tissues of the plants. Okay, so rhizospheric microorganisms can be beneficial or non-beneficial. Okay, but mostly we will focus on the beneficial microbes, because these beneficial microbes, why they become beneficial is because they have the capability to ward off the bad and even human pathogens. Okay, because when the rhizosphere is colonized fast by the beneficial microbes, then it will not allow the colonization of the pathogens in the rhizosphere. Okay, because the beneficial microbes has advantageous traits over the non-beneficial microorganisms. Okay, these things also we'll be seeing in the next lecture. An example is that the beneficial microbes has the capability to reproduce fast. Okay, so the cell division occurs fast, they reproduce fast, so automatically they will cover up the rhizosphere in short period of time, and this will not allow the non-beneficial microbes to come and colonize, because when beneficial microbes reproduce fast, that means they have the capacity to take up the nutrients faster and occupy the space faster. Okay, those kind of dominant traits are present in beneficial microbes. Okay, so in a general case, rhizospheric microorganisms constitute of mainly beneficial microbes, and in few cases when beneficial microbes are absent, then the rhizosphere may get colonized by the pathogens or the human pathogens or plant pathogens. Okay, so this is all about the introduction to the rhizosphere. We will discuss about the role and significance of rhizospheric microorganisms in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.